the Sawyer ProMaster, one of the guns that I designed for Indian Creek. And then this is some history that never made it out. That is the prototype for the Russian Legion Freestyle. And there was two different body designs done. That was one of them. And this was the second one where I changed the front up a little bit with a similar gun. And you'll see that I have both of the prototypes of that along with a few barrel kits. That one never made it out, unfortunately, but it was pretty good looking gun. Put the top back on there. Somewhere I'm gonna have, yeah, this is, go back to this box. Here's some history in here. From back when I used to work with airgun designs. That is one of the European mag bodies. I actually designed the X-Mag for airgun designs. And this is a shame. This is the body of the Maneki mag. Look at the machining on that one. I did all the design work for that and wrote all the code. All hollowed out. Quite a piece of history. At some point when I find time, I'm going to finish building that one. The concept of that actually came from a friend of mine called Bill Mills. And I did the design work and built it up. What else do we have in here? Some original RT parts. Used to do a lot of fun stuff with Tom K. This is actually the rail from the first ever paintball gun to have a loader that fed it from below. Not the warp feed, this is from before the days of the warp feed, but that was the rail from the first ever RT. Actually cut that by hand. A few PB Nation patches. Modules for the warp feed for the European mag. Battery packs, grip frames. Quite a bit of history in that box that maybe I should go through in more detail sometime. I'm trying to find, here we go, this is the one. This, one of my favorite guns. This is the first gun that I ever designed for National Paintball Supply and Bob Long, Empire Intimidator. Has one of the prototype boards before the LCD systems. Actually one of the quickest guns I ever designed too. Maybe I should go into that gun in a bit more detail sometime. Again with the Techno Trigger. Fantastic, love those. What do we have in here? Oh, some more history. Another one of those grip frames. An original, get it out in the light, GZ body. Designed for side feed. It's a little bit of a modification from the GZ, but you can see the old family resemblance. And then we also have the first ever Naughty Dogs Intimidator, another gun that I designed for Bob and for the Naughty Dogs. I should probably go into this one in more detail too at some point. There's a bit of history behind how this design came about, and you'll see that in this area it's actually slightly different to the guns we went to production with. That was a fantastic gun. And oh, hang on, something special inside this one. This is one of the bolts I made when I first came to National Paintball Supply back in end of 2003, and Rocky will testify to this because it was quite funny. He actually called me up when he saw the new bolts with the Ego guns to tell me that they made a bolt with a tip like this one. I made these on an SLS machine just for friends and sort of top-end pro guys. You'll see S4 on some of my stuff. That actually stands for Simon Stevens Signature Series. It was a bit of a joke, but you actually see it on a couple of products that also made it to the marketplace. That was a great bolt design. Never went into production, but the people that got a few are pretty lucky. Okay, put that gun down. I should go into a bit more detail on some of these things at some point. There's my Maneki mag again. What else do we have in here? looking for my cocker box, because I have a box full of cocker parts too, which is quite a bit of history. But that one's not showing up. Where is it? Is this it? Oh no. So this is an interesting gun. Monstrosity now. This is back from the days when I was doing a few things with Planet, which was a lot of fun. This gun was actually an original Bushmaster. Its serial number is 545. So you can see how early a gun it is. And I believe this is one of the first guns to ever have eyes. The eyes were actually designed by a guy called Kurt Hartone, a real intelligent electronics engineer. First ever did them for an Angel, and then he started doing upgrade boards for the ICD Bushmaster, and he did the Bob Long Defiant board with eyes, and he was the man behind sensor boards. And the first time I ever saw the concept, I immediately ordered one. I knew that it was going to be the future. Absolutely fantastic. Some stickers on it from the days that I used to play with the Pig Chat factory team and travel the world. That was some fun times. Good people. What else we got now? One of the first ever Evolve Matrix bolt kits. Oh, look at that. That is a servo in a mag grip frame. And that was something that I mocked up back in 1997. An electronic way of activating a trigger. Yep, there's a lot of history in here. This is a trigger system for an RT, and that tube actually used to house the trigger rod for the sear. It used to have a spring in it as well. I think the spring might actually, there you go, you can see the spring in the piece of tape. And that spring allowed it to always be reactive. So you pretty much had a full auto RT whenever you pulled the trigger enough for the spring to put force on the sear. I know Dan from Trigonomics is doing something similar now. Very cool guy. He made me a trigger once. Very cool, fun stuff. Another Z-frame. And we're going to go on a hunt for my cocker parts again. That's not it. This video is probably getting a little bit longer. There's a cocker body. A little bit longer than anticipated. So maybe if you like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's under the username Manic99. And what I will do is I will find some more of my history and I will go through it in much more detail so people can actually spend some time and get to check it all out. This was just a brief tour of the basement, but I think what I'll probably do is a video for every one of these boxes, because there's enough history here to justify it, that's for sure. Alright guys, I'll catch you later.